Okay. C where is written 5.1 dissolution of partnership. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Are you seeing where it's written 5.1 dissolution of partnership?
Yes, yes, tupaona sir.
All right. Okay. Um, what happened is that you find out a partners they might say to the dissolution of what or partnership. What might happen is that when the partner is the dissolution of partnership, it means this bring to the end of the existence partnership, and the partners who wound up. So this will be bringing that is the end to the partnership. So you should understand those things to say this bring to the end. Then dissolution of partnership, if you are saying bring to the end, means it will no longer existing. Dissolution of partnership, as stated earlier, dissolution of partnership changes the existing relationship between partners, but the firm may continue its business as before. So we are going to restart. We move on from the old system, then want maybe to go to a new system. So we can continue to say we are now dissolving, then we start afresh. It means the existing agreement will come to an end. Like here, we are saying this brings to the end of the existence of a firm, and no business is transacted after dissolution except the activities related to the closing of the firm, as the affairs of the firms are to be wound up by selling the assets and paying its liabilities. So that we are supposed to understand these things. Then you go on dissolution of partnership. Why can a partnership, why the dissolution of partnership? One, changes in existing profit sharing ratio into partner, when they are now changing the existing profit sharing ratio among partners. Maybe it was 1:1, it's now maybe to become 1:2, and so on. So admission of a new partner like what we're doing, okay, now the dissolution. Then the retirement of a partner, when the partner retires, the death of a partner, the insolvent, that means that of a partner, the assets, maybe the partner's assets on the books are now less than the actual assets held. They are insolvent. You can no longer, you are not even liquidity. You can no longer even pay your liabilities, and to meet the obligations when they fall due, that is become an insolvent, because you can no longer your assets cannot even cover up for your liabilities. If somebody dies, you retire. Completion of the venture, if partnership is formed for that expire of the period of partnership. Sometimes the partnership might have a period of 10 years or 5 years for a specific period. That rises to the existence. That's hold on. Okay, let's continue. Sorry for the delay and sorry for the disturbance. So what we are saying here, we are saying the expiry of the period of the partnership is for a specific period of time. Then here, let's go on the dissolution of a firm. What we want to do, we want to talk about solution of partnership. So we are not worried about the firm, but the firm has got its own legal uh, legalities which are different from the partnership. So here, when the distinction between dissolution of partnership, dissolution of a firm, termination of business, the business is not terminated in a partnership. In a dissolution of firm, the business of the firm is closed. Settlement of assets and liabilities. Assets and liabilities here, on this situation, the assets and liabilities are revalued. We did the revaluation of assets. A new balance sheet is drawn. Assets and sold and liabilities are paid off. I'm not worried about much of dissolution of firms. Then court's intervention. Court does not intervene because partnership is dissolved by mutual agreement, a mutual consent between the partners. That is very critical here. That's by the mutual consent. Then economic relationship, the economic relationship between partners continues, though in the changed form, maybe profit sharing ratio, maybe the capital, interest on capital allowed, and so on. The closure of books does not require because the business is not terminated. We do not terminate it, but we want to change something. So you need to understand some of these to say when a partnership is a solution of partnership. We are not saying it's coming to an end totally, but we are saying the existing agreement is the one is going to come to an end. Then we start on a new chapter. So when you are starting a new chapter, maybe the profit sharing ratio, maybe the capital contributed, the interest on capital allowed is going to change, and so on. Okay, let's talk about the how do we do it when we solve our partners. Let me check here. Let's read the question that they can understand what we are saying. Who can read illustration 1? We have very good readers who are very eloquent. Who can read for us?
Me. Yes, sir.
Yes, you can continue.
Supriya and Monica are partners who share profit in the ratio 3:2. Following is the balance sheet as on March 31, 2020. The balance sheet of Supriya and Monica is on March 31, 2020. The firm was dissolved on March 31, 2020. Close the books of the firm with the following information. Part 1. Debtors released at a discount of debtors realized at a discount of 5%. Part 2. Stock realized at Rs 7,000. Part 3. Fixed assets realized at Rs 42,000. Part 4. Realization expenses of Rs 1,500. Part 5. Creditors are paid in full. Record necessary journal entries at the time of dissolution of a firm.
Thank you. So they want to come up with a realization account. So what we do here, we look at our assets and liabilities. Because also liabilities, you are responsible. You've got an obligation for liabilities. They remain your daughters and sons, those liabilities. You don't disown your creditors because you want to dissolve they will remain as part of your debt. So here what we are going to do, they are saying 3:2. So their realization account, all assets should be debited. The assets which are debtors are realized at a discount of 5%. So it means we are going to discount of 5%. So our debtors here, central debtors 21,500, provision 500, that's 21,000, but at 5% less. So you need to be calculative. So it means that 95% is the one which you are going to realize here. Cash and bank 4,500. Stock realized at 7,000, which means there's a decrease of 500. Fixed assets, that is 42,000 here. There is an increase from 42 to 36,500. But there's a revaluation upwards of 42,000 minus 36,500. Realization expense, that is an expense. Creditors are paid in full. These are creditors of 32,500 of 48,000. These are the creditors to be paid in full, 48,000. So realization account as a 31 March. Realization debt, what debt, then credit. Stock account 7,500. You credit it. Then sundry debtors 21,500. Then fixed assets 36,500. Then they are saying at the end of the day, the debtors should be paid in full. They've got a credit balance. So when you are realizing, it's like you are disposing these assets. So when you are disposing this asset, they carry a debt balance. So when you are when you are doing a realization account, they should now carry a credit. They should go to the credit side. Then the central creditors, that is 48,000. Provision for doubtful debt, that is 500. That is given there. The realization account 48,500. This was as at 31 March year. As at 31 March. Then as at 31 March, we are taking those figures as they are before we go to the next level. Then bank 69425. That is the bank. The bank, what we do when you are going to sell, what are you going to sell? One, we have got 4,500, but we are going to realize 95% of our debtors, which is 95% of 21,000. We are going to realize 7,000. This goes to the bank. So bank will be debited with this 95% of 21,000 plus 7,000 plus the fixed realized assets 42,000. Then bank you are going to pay 1,500. Creditors are going to be paid by 48,000. So the bank will receive some money, but it will also pay some money. Then we are saying the assets realized here. That is the assets realized. Let's go on. We'll see how they come to that. So we find out that there are narratives here. Then the creditors and realization expenses. Because creditors here, they should be paid in full. That is the creditors of 48,000 plus realization expenses 1,500. They should be paid. So when they are paid, realization account, you debit it 49,500. Then bank, because you are paying using the bank, you credit the bank. Then realization DR, realization of profit transfer to partners capital account. Transfer of the profit to capital account. Okay, let's leave this one, then we'll go on to the next one to make a to go to the workings. Let's go to the workings first. The books of Sophia and Monica realization account. Particulars, that is amount, Assets transferred, the value of these assets was 7,500, 21,500, 36,500, 48,000, and 1,500. Those were the assets and liabilities. Then if we come here, this one, provision for doubtful debt, that is going to be 500 given. Then the sundry creditors, that is 48,000. Then the bank debtors, like what we said, on our debtors, we are said the debtors are 21,000, but from 21,000, we are only, there is a 5%. So which means that it's a discount of 5%. So if you take your calculator, you would see that 5% discount, which means that you remain with 95%. So 95% multiplied by 21,000. That is 95% multiplied by 21,500. In fact, 95% multiplied by 21,500. That is what we get 20. They should get here 24,200, 24,200, 425. Because the central data here, if you come to this here, it's 2425 because the discount of 5%, which means that the amount which they are going to, because the bank, the amount received by the bank, the bank is going to receive 2425. How to calculate 2425? 2425 is calculated by 21,500 minus 5% of 2,500. 21,500 for there's a discount, or just say simple mathematics, that's 95% of 21,500. Then you what? Then you get the amount which is going to be what to be received as the amount is 2425. Then the stock, they are only going to get 7,000 as given. Then the fixed assets 42,000. So which means that the total amount which they are going to get in the bank, that is the 69,425. That's the bank. That is how we calculate the bank. We are only concerned about the amount they are going to receive. Stock 7,000. Then fixed asset 42. Then 5% debtors discounted at 5%. So 5% of 21,500 is subtracted from 21,500, which is 95%. That is the bank. That's the figure which we have even here in our bank here. So you debt the bank, then you credit the realization account. But because here there's a credit which you paid, so it's opposite. Reverse the credit, it's got a credit balance to debit here. Then you go, the realization account, that will be what will be transfer of liabilities, liability transfer to relation account. So that's why we get these figures. Then what we are saying, we are going to see that this side is now bigger than this side. So if you subtract this 117925 minus the figures here to get 2925, then this one is going to be shared on the profit and loss ratio. That is, they are sharing at 3:2, which is 3 over 5 and 2 over 5. So 3 over 5 and 2 over 5. Then you get 4, 9, 2. You get 1755 for Supriya and 11704 for Monica. Because this one is a balancing figure, which we get after we have received this. So these are going to share. It's an advantage to them. Profit transferred, they get a profit after. Because these were the figures at the beginning when the assets for revaluation, for real, before market value, considering the market value of this. But after the market value, we have got to some of the assets, they goes up. For example, fixed assets went up from 36,500 to 42,000, which is an advantage. The way by some assets, their value went down. For example, stock from 7.5 to 7,000. To debtor from 21,500 to 24,250, and so on. Then it means when you are going to the partner's capital account, it has been increased by 175, 1170. The bank 42, then you will find out that there was a general reserve of 13,500. So this should be shared at a profit and loss sharing ratio. That is over 3/5 for the one, then the 2/5 for the one. That is in the general reserve. So what we do when transfer of assets, the general entries, what we're supposed to do when the assets are being transferred. These are some of the templates for general entries. All assets accounts including cash, excluding cash, bank, and the fixtures assets, if any, are closed by transfer to the depreciation account of their book values. Be very careful. So you put them at their book values, not market value. That's why you find out that these were at their book value, 7521,500, and except bank and cash are placed on the realization account at book value. So if they are assets, you credit them, then you debit the realization what account. So you need to be very, very, very careful. It may be noted that sundry debtors are transferred at gross value, and the provision of doubtful debt is transferred to the credit side of realization account along with liabilities. So the sundry debtors are transferred at gross value, and the provision of doubtful debt is transferred to the credit side of realization account along with liabilities. So it means those provisions which have been offered to our books, which we provided according depending on the company, sorry, the partners, the accounting policy, those should be what transferred to the credit side of the revaluation. That's why you find out that in this case, we have got here a situation whereby we indicate sundry creditors and doubtful debts here. They should be on the realization account. This should be debited. We debit the sundry account and the provision for doubtful debt, then realization account on the credit side. So be very careful on this one, that the creditors and doubtful debts, they have been treated like this. Then you go on to the next. Then we are saying the same thing will apply to fixed assets if provision of depreciation account is maintained. If there was a provision of depreciation, we're going to do the same. For transfer of liabilities or external liability accounts, including provisions, if they are closed by transferring them to the credit relation account. If they are liabilities individual, you debt relation account. So of assets, a debt bank receives relation account credit. For an asset taken over by a partner, and a partner can decide maybe to take a motor vehicle, then the partner account is debited. Reduce the if you take an asset of your business, this reduces your capital. To understand that, it reduces your capital because this one is taking the assets, assets of the business. So this reduces like a drawing. If you are taking them, you reduce the capital. For payment of liabilities, bank usually is credited because it's an asset, then you let's say what account. You need to know this to say usually bank, when you are paying something, is credited. But when it is received, it is what debited. For a liability which a partner takes is from read to such relation account, then to partner's capital account. So you need to read, as you read on these journals, you would understand how are you supposed to treat what those the dissolution of what of partners. That is very, very, very critical. So what is particularly important is to understand that whenever the bank receives something, you debit it. Whenever the bank pays something, you credit it. So you should understand the concepts, this concept. Then the expenses, again, you should understand the expenses are paid by a bank. So a less an account debited, then the bank credited. So that we are supposed to have an idea of that. Let's look on the last on this topic. I think the other question here, so that they can understand. Who can read this one for us? Illustration 2. Hello, can you read illustration 2 for us? Hello,
Yes, sir.
can read illustration 2.
Sita, Rita, and Meta are partners sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 2:2:1. Their balance sheet as on March 31, 2017 is as follows. They decided to dissolve the business. The following amounts were realized. Plant and machinery, 4,250. Stock, 3,500. Debtors, 1,850. Furniture, 750. Sita agreed to bear all realization paid by the firm expenses for the service. Sita is paid 60. Actual expenses on realization paid by the firm amounted to 450 rands. Creditors paid 2% less. There was an unrecorded assets of 250 rands, which was taken over by Rita at 200 rands. Prepare the necessary accounts to close the books of the firm.
Okay, so you're saying the general reserve was 2, then this was their creditors 2,000, cash at bank 2,500. Then necessary accounts to close. We say we're saying at their book values. At their book values this side. Amount this 2,500, 1,200, 2,500, 1,960. Sita C realization expenses. Then we go on. Sita agreed to be realization paid by the firm for the service is paid. This what is now being paid. Realization expenses. Then here we want what we get, what we are going. So the creditors, that is 2,000. That is we are said we should pay what our creditors. Creditors pay 2% less. Creditors are paid, so this will go and affect our bank. But as we said in the realization account, we should record our as they are. We should record at their book value. That's why creditors we are saying 2,000. Then returns capital 200 because the Rita took what was taken over by Rita. So once you take over something, the company's assets, the partner's assets, that one it means part of what we support record it here. Then plant and machinery 4250. We went to the bank asset realized because they are saying plant and machinery 4250 here. Then they said stock 250. Then they said debtors 1850. Then furniture 750. So these were the figures which we get from the what bank. Then 4250, 1850, 350, 350. Then after that, we've got a balancing figure. The balance figure here, that is the profit which is shared among this partner, according to their profit and loss sharing ratio. So they share these amounts according to profit and sharing ratio. Profit and loss sharing ratio. Then realization accounts for the partners accounts. Then the balance brought down, reserve fund here calculated. Then profit we are taking this, then expense. Then here we've got staff 4,550. Then relation bring up, that is the relation assets, that is Rita 200, the assets which he took. Then bank 482 and so on. Then our bank account here, that is we received, we debit. So our assets, we pick the figure which we calculated here from the bank as it is 10,350. Because when we sold our asset, that is the amount which we benefited. So that is 10,350. So what the balance what? 250, that the balance carried down. Then let's say for creditor 1950, they paid that. Peter's capital 450, Steel's capital. These are the what are the balancing thing. So that is what we're supposed to do. I don't think there is any question. So we have as many questions as possible. But what is important for us to understand how do we do with that? Any question on how we're supposed to record? Any question? Any question? So we find out that on the lesson account, like what the rule was saying. So what you need is to understand these rules. They are very critical. These rules, general entries rules. And if you follow the examples again, you understand it better when you noted that on the realization what account, on the debt side, we record the assets according to their, even the liabilities. All assets are recorded on the debt side. Then liabilities on the credit side at their values. Then the bank now, we take the bank, then the bank we use the amount which we received after disposing or selling those assets. Then we look the balance figure, we transfer it to the profit and what? The profit. So we transfer it as the profit to the partners capital. Partners capital accounts again, reserve was there, profit from realization going to increase them. Because when they sold their assets maybe they were revalued more than what was there. Any question before we go further?
Wandivhundutsa pana waurayiwa iwe unonyepa nguva iyoyo hakunoita hapenzi inoitiri yaunotaura
Noise.
pakaigirova ari pafoni pake ndingandati sori one saka pesi pandoti sori bvutitoti ndingandati sori one anokuteterewe tari haiya kana inini moyo umodo kana siri unotodaira sorry.
Okay. Gave you time. Order.
Order and course.
Raise up your hand, miss.
Sena ndobvunza pama-sundry debtors nhasi ndinombonyatsonzwisisa kuti zvinoitwa sei.
Five.
Ma-sundry debtors anga muchiexplaina so.
What my?
Pama-sundry debtors ataexplaina pa-realization anoziva kuti zvinonyatsoitwa sei.
Ma-debtors. Ma-sundry debtors. Okay. Ndanchiti nini ndatovhara slide racho but rega ndiexplain. Ndanchiti isusu kana ari ma-debtors handiti. Handinoona kuti ma-debtors edu sometimes tinogona kunzi isusu kana mari tichawana kuma-debtors inenge yava shoma than mari yatofanira kudi kuwana. Saka you find out that maybe your debtors the amount, the book value or the book what we have in our books is 7 million, but we cannot get 7 million. Why? Because they've got the provisions. Some of our debtors are likely not to pay. That's our account receivables. Or we might find out that we might give our customers a discount. So which you give our customers a discount, maybe we want the customer to encourage our customer to pay, to say if you pay your debt in 1 month, we are going to give you maybe 10% or 5% discount. So by virtue of that, of doing that, you find out at the end of the day, for example, let's go to this one. They are saying, are you seeing I shared you another book there? I see the book.
Yes.
For example, if you read here, they're saying the amount collected from debtors amount 7,400 after bad debt and discounts had been deducted. Here they are saying after it's been what? Deducted. But in our own case on that person, we're given bad debt, then they're saying the discount was 5%. So I said if it was 5% the discount, it means mathematically it means the money which are going to get from receive from the bank is 95% because 5% discount. Then 95% of the what? Of the debtors. That's why we ended up having the 421,000, but 21,450, I think so. So that is what we are supposed to what to write on our bank, to debt the bank by that amount. But when we are recording on our revaluation account, what we do, we write debtors as they are, like this. We write our debtors as they are. But here we want the debtors, which the amount which we receive was 7,000 what 400 on the credit side, on the lesson account, because provision for that debts were given as 400. So what we are saying, for our assets here on this side of the debt side, we write the book value of the assets as they are. Then here when the assets what sold and the assets taken over by partners are also what included here, but they reduce their partners, the capital accounts. Are you answered?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, thank
Okay.
you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. You have been answered. So what you should understand on the real estate account is that assets to be realized, you write in their book value. Then as you know that the assets are being recorded on the debt side as they are. Then the liabilities, creditors, and they are being recorded on the credit side. Then the assets sold, the money received by the bank is recorded on the credit side. This is the amount received from the bank. Then they taken over by a partner again. Then creditor counts like the same thing on the credit side again. All right, let's look on the Ghana versus Murray rule. That is very important. This one, Ghana versus Murray, they are saying sometimes the partner will be unable to pay all or a part of such a balance. That is an insolvent partner. In this case of Ghana versus Murray in 1904, a case in England, the court ruled that subject to any agreement to contract, such a deficiency was to be shared by other partners, not in their profits and loss sharing ratio, but in the ratio of their last agreed capitals. That is the Ghana versus Murray rule. It says what happened. They say such a deficiency is to be shared like this. So they're saying, let's say the other partner is failing to raise there's a debt. Maybe the partner has got a debt. What happened that if the partner is a debt, what we do, how do they come and they finance that debt? But there is an obligation. An obligation is supposed to settle it. They say what is supposed to be done is that do not pay the deficiency, do not settle the deficiency in the profit sharing ratio, but in the ratio of last agreed capital. So there is the agreed capital to say maybe the capital, like for example, the present example, the capital was different from the profit sharing ratio. It must be borne in mind that the balance on the capital account after the assets have been realized may be far different from those on the last balance sheet. Where partnership deed is drawn up, it is commonly found that agreement is made to use normal profit and loss sharing ratios. Instead, thus rendering the Ghana versus Murray rule inoperative. The Ghana versus Murray rule does not apply, let's say, in countries such as Scotland. Like here, let's have this one, this question. Who can read this question for us? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? Any volunteer to read for us? Hello, class, who can read for us? Hello? Any volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you proceed?
Exhibit 44.3. After completing the realization of all the assets in respect of which a loss of $14,000 was incurred, but before making the final payments to the partners, the balance sheet appears. Then we have our balance sheet. Your examinations. According to the last balance sheet drawn up before the dissolution, the partners' capital account credit balances were Q $5,000, R $70,000, S $20,000, T $10,000, while the profits and losses were shared Q S/3, R S/2, S S/1, and T S/1. Q is unable to meet any part of his deficiency. Under the Ghana versus Murray rule, each of the other partners suffers the deficiency as follows: own capital per balance sheet before dissolution over total of all solvent partners' capitals per same balance sheet times deficiency. This can now be calculated as to R is $70,000 over the total of all solvent partners' capital per same balance sheet times 1,000.
Continue, then we'll explain at the end. Hello? 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 Okay, let me try to, we're saying, according to, they are saying, there was a partner who was saying Q is unable, who is Q here? Q is not able to pay the deficiency under the Ghana versus Murray rule. So what they are saying, according to this rule, there was a loss of 14,000, which was incurred, but before the final payment, the balance sheet appeared as what? As follows. Q already has got a debt balance, which means that Q cannot even, is in the negative, cannot pay, does not have the money, does not have the capacity to meet the obligation. So what happened is that we add own capital per balance sheet before dissolution. These were their capital, the partners' capital account credits were before dissolution. Be very careful. We are saying before dissolution, not after dissolution. So we are saying 70 plus 2 plus 10. That is our denominator here. The denominator is 70 plus 20. We exclude Q. Please exclude Q's amount. Then 70 over there is 1,000, which is got what? A problem here on the balance sheet. So times 1,000 times 1,000. They share this debt balance of what? Of Q of 1,000. So the denominator is according to the credit balances of the partners, capital credit balance before the dissolution. So we find out that there is 700 for R's, S for 200, P 400. Because it is said you don't use the profit sharing ratio. That is the rule of Ghana versus Murray rule. Ghana versus Murray rule states clearly that we do not use the profit and loss sharing ratio, but we can only use the what? The capital. Then you go on, when these amounts have been charged to the capital accounts, then the balance remain, them will equal the amount of bank balance. Payments may therefore be made to clear the capital. So which means that credit balance, that is 66 minus 700 for this one, 800 minus 200. So equal the bank balance, that is 91,000. That is 91,000, the total. So this will be equal to the bank balance of 91,000, other than this debt balance. So their capital, they are going to do to be reduced when you're applying the Ghana versus Murray rules. Okay, any question on Ghana versus Murray rule? When the other partner is now insolvent, the other partner, there's now a deficiency. Then you apply, we use the capital available. That becomes our base. Any questions? Any other questions? Any question? Okay, if there is any question, let's all look on the today's last aspect here. The last aspect of today, that is the piecemeal realization. That is what we want to look. Let's look on the one of the critical area of piecemeal. Okay, we are saying the asset may take long time to be turned into cash to be realized. That is sometimes find out that for you to turn goods into cash, sometimes you might have high stock, but that stock, your cash might be tied in stock or in assets. So the partners will naturally want payments made to them on account as cash is received. They will not want to wait for payments until the dissolution is completed just for the computer to account end. There is, however, a danger that if too much is paid to a partner and is unable to repay it, then the person entering the dissolution could be placed in a very awkward position. To counteract this, the concept of prudence is brought into play. Prudence concept, that is, we do not overstate your assets, but can overstate your liabilities. That's the prudence concept. Do not overstate your assets. This is done as follows. Each receipt of self money is treated as being the final receipt, even though more could be received. Be very careful. So you are treating as every receipt received is being treated as the final receipt. Any loss then calculated so far to be shared between partners in profit and loss sharing ratio. Any loss then calculated so far should be sharing in the profit and loss sharing ratio. Should any partner's capital accounts after the receipt shows a debt balance, if there is a debt balance, like what happened on this scenario, whereby this partner is got a debt balance which was Q, then what does it mean? The deficit will be shared in any other agreement using the Ghana versus Murray rule. I think this one now understand it. The Ghana versus Murray rule that we take the capital, the total capital or the old profit, it owed partners the capital, total of old partners capital becomes the denominator. So each partner who is not insolvent, who does not have a negative, then it comes to what you enumerate the amount invested by that party. After payment of liabilities and the cost of dissolution, the remainder of the cash is then paid the partner. So you pay liability first and cost of dissolution. That's critical. Then the remainder of the cash then paid what? The partners. In this manner, even no further money were received or should partner become insolvent, the division of available cash should be strictly in accordance with the legal requirements. So you should make sure that you follow the procedures accordingly, that the liabilities and the cost of dissolution, they should be paid first before the remainder is being paid to the partners. That is very critical. Then you go on, let's look on the exhibit 44.4. Yeah. Where one of my colleagues, one of my friends should read. Who can read this? Who can read this? Who can read this for us? Any volunteer? Any volunteer?
Say, can you repeat, Mati?
I said who can read for us exhibit 44.4? You can read. Hello?
I can read it.
Following the following is summarized balance sheet of H, Y, J, and K as at 31 December 2008. The partner had shared profits in the ratio H6 as to J4 as to J1 as to K1. On 1 March 2009, some of the assets were sold for cash of 550,000. Out of this, creditor 80,000 and the cost of dissolution 800 are paid, leaving 31,200 distributed to the partners.
Finish off. On 1 July. Hello, continue.
On 1 July 2009, some more assets are sold for 21,000, as all of the liabilities and the cost of dissolution have already been paid. The whole of the 21,000 is available for distribution between the partners. On 1 October 2009, the final sale of the assets realized 12,000. Then Is there any need to the other contents?
Okay, thank you so much for reading. So what we are saying is they were saying it was paid in the cash was received in batches. It was not received at the same time. So what we do here, we are saying one of the creditors 18,000, the assets were sold 50,000. Part of the creditors 18,000, the cost solution 800. So should you start by paying 18,800 and leaving the what the 31,000 what 200. That's the rules. So here, first distribution. We first distribution. That is capital balance before dissolution. We pick this capital balance before dissolution 6, 30, 20, and 10. This is 6, 30, 20, 10, 66,000. Don't no loss if no further assets realized. Assets, the assets here were 84,000. 18, that is 66 what 80,000. Then the assets sold, there was a sale of 50,000 here. That is, they say you treat the transactions as if it's the last transaction. We try to avoid we are trying to meet the prudence concept, which is very critical in accounts. So we should not overstate our asset. What it means, we treat the amount received here, the amount received, which is 30 on 1 March, the amount which you are going to receive of 50,000 is the last amount. Then the assets, the value of 84, so you say 84 minus 50,000, which means that you have got 34, we have got 34,000 plus the costs which has been talked, that is 800. Then you've got 34,800 as loss. Because the rule says when you're using the piecemeal method, you treat the transaction which took place today as the last transaction. Not to say you are going to get them in the near future, because you're using the prudence what concept. So that is 84,000. That is given here on the question. 84,000. It's given. Then less sales. That is 50,000, which was being talked. They say they are going to get 50,000. Then 34,000. Then plus 800. So there was a loss of 34 plus the cost of 800 dollars, which we incurred. Dissolution are paid. Like what we said, we should pay our creditors and the cater for the loss. So loss of share according to the profit share ratio. So which means that it's one the ratio. That is H614 J1 K1. 6 plus 4, 10 plus 1, 11 plus 1, 12. So 6 over 12, which becomes half for H. Half for H. So it's half of 34,800, which is 12,400. Then you got the next one again, which is 4 over 12, which is 1/3. Then the next one, and so on. This is the next what here. So here the deficiency shares in Ghana versus Murray ratio. You find out from their capital here 6,000 minus 7, 30 minus 11, 20 minus 2. This one now is no enough capital here because now you have a debt balance. When you find out your capital, you have now a debt balance on your capital account. It means you are now you don't have the capacity. You now have a deficiency. So so which means what happened? There's now a problem here because there's now 11,500, 400 here. So that's 11,200 should be shared using the Ghana versus Murray ratio. What we did here, so you should do 8 plus 20 plus 10, then comes the denominator. So it's 30 over the amount which you are going to get after adding I, the capital of I, the capital of J, the capital of K. You add them, that's the denominator. So 30 over that one, multiply by 11,400, which is the deficiency. The deficiency here, because here the capital balance was 6,000, but now look now, the amount here is now toward the loss is now too much. That's why it's with the negative what balance. So the negative balance is shared using the Ghana Murray rule. The Ghana Murray rule, we add this for I, capital for I, capital for J, capital for K. Then if you add that one, then we just as a denominator. Then we go on to the next cash get. In 2009, some more assets are sold for 21,000. 21,000. All of liabilities in the course of dissolution have already been paid. The whole of 21,000 is available for the distribution to partners. That is on 1 July 2009. So that is 21,000 available here. So what do they say? What do we say here? Okay, leaving 31,200 distribution to partner on 1 March. So they leave 31,200 distribution to partner on 1 March again. So on 1 March, when we start by having this loss which happened, then loss happened. This one we are now sharing 31,200. But H is not going to get anything. Remember here, the HC burden has been taken by this partner. Then they share this one. How do they share this one? 3 over 6, 2 over 6, and 1 over 6. What happened is that because this one was under liability, was now insolvent. So Ghana versus Murray rule says they're using their what? Their ratio. Their ratio here, if you calculate it well, this one, the 1H is now a problem. H is the one with a problem. Then we left with I, J, K. I, J, K. Then under Ghana versus Murray, their capital are as follows. It's now 30 plus 20 plus 10, which is 60. I is now 30 over 60, which is now 30 over 60, which is now half. That is 3 over what? 6. J is now 20 over 60, which is 1/3. 20 over 6, which is 1/3. Then K is 10 over 60, which is 1 over 6. So there are now new sharing profits now 3 over 6, 2 over 6, 1 over 6. You might it's very important so that we understand how did we get these ones. These ratios were generated from the available capital, capital sharing ratio. Should understand that that's the capital invested by those three. So on cash paid partner, we are now using this one 3 over, that is 3 over 6 here, that is 2 over 6, that is 1/6, and the available amount, that is 31,200. That's the available what amount. And how do they were supposing to share their profit sharing ratio? Here it was 1:1:1. 4:1:1. 4:1:1. That's their profit sharing ratio. The remaining. That is 4:1. For this one, that is 4 for J1, for K1. But H is now out because it's got a debt balance. H, because of Ghana versus Murray ratios, he has been covered up for the mess here. But the 31,200 is available for what? Is available for sharing. Then, if we say this minus this, get this one minus this one, then we get this, then this one minus this one, then you find out that for these were losses incurred because of this, so they reduce the partner's capital. Then if we are at here, then we have got a distribution of 21,000 here. Second distribution, that is 1 July, that is 6,000, 30,000. We take again from this capital. 84,000 minus sales 50,000 happened, plus 21,000 equals 13,000 plus costs 800. So we've got now 13. We carried this 50,000 realized on the first distribution, on the first page, on the first transaction. Why? Because we're using the prudence concept. We have realized these assets, realization concept. Already we've what? Already, because we've managed to get these cells. That's why we are now adding them in the second distribution. So it's cumulative. Cumulative, we are saying the previous transaction of 50,000 plus 21,000, the current one. Which one? This one, this is 21,000. Then you subtract from 84,000 the value of the asset before, that's 13,000 plus the cost 800. The cost, which is what? 800 equals 13,800 loss. So the loss sharing profit ratio is like this. You get this figure. Then also this one has got a debt what balance 900, should be covered under Ghana versus Murray ratio. So it's 3/6 again of 900, 2/6 times 900 to be shared among these partners. But this one is now what? Is now a debt capital. Then we go on again. First distribution already paid. We remove 24,950. Then first distribution cash paid partners. This one we remove this. Then we get cash now paid partners. We remove the previous what paid because there was a cumulative movement whereby we added our 21, the last 50 plus what 21. That's why we are removing this figure. Figures 21, 13, 5, 200. Now we've got 12, 250, 523, 500. We go on to the last batch of payment towards October final asset of 12,000. We now add again 84 minus 50,000 plus then 50,000 plus the amount realized in batches, which is 32, which is 31,200, which is 50,000 plus 21,000 plus 12,000. Then subtract from 84. We have got 50,000 plus 21 plus 12,000 should be deducted from assets 84,000. Then plus 800, which is our what? Which is our cost. Then we've got 1,800 what loss then should be shared on the profit sharing ratio. Find out that even this friend of mine who was no longer was very insolvent, his capital was in the negative. There was a deficiency because of this age. Who also is now in the outward condition. Then after that, this one did not receive anything because he was owing. Then it's minus 0. Then those ones who received the previous, the already first and second distribution. So you add the first and the second what distribution. So the distribution which was to done this at the first 12,700 plus that the distribution 12,007 cash paid 12,700 that the distribution the first distribution year plus the second distribution, then we got 24,950 24,950 24,950 because of the distribution which was there. Then also this one the same thing, but this one did get nothing. So at the end of the day, we have got this scenario. So you need to understand this concept. So it's very critical for you to understand how we arrive at this. Okay, it's a very long person which is very hectic, but people they should go and practice this. That is very important. Whereby they apply the Ghana versus Murray rule. At the end of the day, these partners who have got something, who has got a credit balance on their capital, they will cover for the deficiency of the other partner. Then after that, that partner is not going to receive it. When you are now going to the next the next allocation, we go here. We are now saying this one minus this one minus this one minus this one. It reduced their capital. Their capital has been reduced because of Ghana versus Murray rule. That shortfall is being shared among the partner. Then cash paid what to partners. Then second distribution, that is we do the same, but it's accumulative, 50,000 plus the current one. Then you get the what? The figure. Then you say this one plus the amount get from plus the cost, then you get a loss. So you do this one and do so on until you arrive at the final what? At the final transactions where the payment was made. Okay, any person? Any person? Any person? There's no any person. I think it was a very long lesson. Any person? Any person, class? Okay, so you go and read. You've got this book. You go and revise what we learn. Then I'll try to download the lesson, the lecture, so that we can share, so that we can able to reinforce what you've learned. That's the advantage of if it is being recording. When the lecture has been recorded, it can help you to go and listen it and look for it at the comfort of your homes. Any questions?